Okay, so in the container area here, I got some, these are my purple sweet potatoes that are doing good. Of course, something is putting holes in the leaves. I don't know, there's all kind of life form in here. But there's only 2 slips in this one container. And yeah, man, it's bushed up pretty good. I was afraid that the sweet potatoes were going to just take over the whole yard, you know, kind of like a watermelon or something. But they've kind of stayed around the container itself, so I'm happy about that. So I've got a little bit left in here, and well, let's see what we got going here. That's a river birch tree I kind of saved from work, and we'll put him in the yard one day when he gets bigger. A little bit of mint left. The tea still sits there. I'm still studying up on the tea to do what I want to do with it. I see where they grow tea, they actually hedge it, and so I'm thinking, wow, what if I can get more tea plants and then put it out front as part of the landscaping and hedge it? People wouldn't know. I'd just go out there and pick tea and make me some tea. So these are just junk weeds popping up, a little bit of some type of an aloe vera plant. This is a regular sweet potato. That's going to be an orange one. Okay, this is one of the newer additions, and this should be a papaya. I believe it's papaya, and I'm having to learn a little bit about this one too. I see I got some leaves that are turning yellow, so I'm just kind of plucking them off the tree, the yellow leaves. And but yeah, so that's papaya. Now, I saw a papaya tree earlier on a Pete Canaris video, and down at Echo Farms down in North Fort Myers, and the thing was huge, and I can't imagine where would I put something like that. I think this one's going to have to be brought in during the winter time. So look at that. Isn't that neat, that leaf? Okay, moving along, we've got some poblanos trying to grow. Not very big, but it's got a few peppers on it. And here's tomatoes that are popping out. Remember, this was the branches that broke off in a previous video that I stuck in the ground. And man, look at the root system on that. So they're actually producing. I lost most of my tomato crop. I mean, I tell you what, living in Florida is hard because there's so many different pests. And it doesn't matter what I'm growing, pest. Okay, once again, these are all sweet potatoes. These are the purple sweet potatoes. So they'll be purple meat and purple skin sweet potatoes. But look, man, that looks great. I can still cut around here. I have some getting down on here, but I hit it with the mower, and that's no problem. But once again, look at the leaves. So I can just hope that when I harvest this, that the potatoes are good. So yeah, so that's my sweet potatoes, my purple sweet potatoes, and what's left of the container garden, because earlier videos you'll see many more containers in here, but everything's been gone out and planted. So we'll move along here. And blueberry bushes, we still have blueberries, and I'm going to tell you that it took me a while because I got a lot of these. I got 10 of these this size from a friend of mine that had bought a house, and I didn't know what they were. And I found out, man, I got fire ants on me. These are a powder blue is the brand. And see, I've still got blueberries. And this is the end of June, and I've still got blueberries. So they're producing. There's blueberries on this one. I don't know why, but they're still producing. Not all the plants are. Some of them are done. So here is just going to be a native cucumber that I'm growing in containers. Man, this fire ants got me. Get off of me, fire ants. And yeah. Oh, here's a cucumber here. Look. Yeah, nice. And I put them on the fence thinking, well, maybe they'll grow better on the fence. I don't know. There's a cucumber there. Look at that. I didn't see this one yesterday. There's one there. But a lot of flowers. But I'm just putting them on the fence row because, you know, it's there. Why not use it? So that one's a little light colored, I think, the heat. Now these cucumbers here, I don't see any on there. These are the lemon cucumbers. So they're going to be round, lemony shape, and I guess kind of a yellow. I don't know. Let's see, here's one here hanging. Let's see, where's he at? I thought I saw one hanging. Maybe something got it. I don't know. So that's the 3 of those are lemon cucumbers. Now, moving along, we will go, let's go look at the chickens this morning. And I'm going to put them out here in just a second, but if you see how close I am to the woods, obviously, I'm having a rat problem, and they're loving living underneath these sheds. So I popped a few of them the other day, but what I'm going to have to do, and I've got the materials, is junk it up, just like any other homesteader, right? So I've got 10 down here on the side of the shed, and I'm going to have to wrap around all these nooks and crannies to keep them from having a good spot to hide, so I can let my chickens out. Now this chicken run here, I'll show you, these girls are going to want to get out. Here they are. Hey ladies. Okay, hold up, we'll let you out in a minute. They are going to have an open area to run around in, all back in here, but there's no roof over it. So the cedar tree covers most of it, so maybe they'll be okay from predators. So, but yeah, I need to let them out, let them get on this grass a little bit. I've got to finish fencing in an area over here, but other than that, this will be their range. So moving along, this is my Pangoro Lime tree that's starting to bloom out. It's got little flowers on it, and I saw one lime on here. There it is. There's the lime right there. But these limes are not your typical green limes. I mean, it is now, but it's going to turn orange when it gets ripe. And this thing will be loaded. I mean, there'll be 100 of them on there. And we make like a lemonade out of it, limeade, or you can put it in mixed drinks or something. But it's called Pangoro Lime, and that's what it's predominantly used for. So let's go over here. This is my Pangon, which is a Chinese honey orange. And they're starting off green, and they'll be orange. And they're everywhere. And this is, I don't know if my second year with these. But the first year I had it in the ground, I had 3 oranges. And now there's probably 40 or 50 on here. So, all right. Looking at the chickens. Here's a cucumber vine that I planted, expecting it to go up on this chicken coop, but it's decided to crawl. There you go. There's a cucumber. I'm hoping there's no snakes out here. I wanted it to go up there, but maybe the chickens are re-diverting it over here. So I did have some rattlesnake pole beans here, and the chickens basically got to them. So I probably need to put a cloth across here and then let them replant them, let them grow up. So if you look in here, I got Moringa in there, so that's good for anybody. That's just some branches I pulled off my trees. I'll show you here in a minute. So I'm hoping the chickens take to them. That'll be good, healthy for them too. So here's my free range rooster. Here's my Ponderosa lemon. Look at the lemons on this bad boy here. It's not a big tree, but it is covered in fruit. Citrus. Look at all the lemons. And look at this guy here. This is the first one on the plant. Look at the size of that, okay? If you're not familiar, a Ponderosa lemon, they get the size, well, that's softball size right there, so it might go bigger, I don't know. They get pretty big, so, but this tree is loaded with them. And then the funny thing is, I wanted to trim this limb off because it sags down so much, and it's the first limb to get a fruit on it. So, and he's almost touching the ground. But that is what we got living here. Oops, I don't know what that was. That is my Ponderosa lemon. Okay, nice. And then my pink lemon that's not doing anything is probably going to hold Ponderosa lemons next year. So I'll have to wait till February, March, and then I can graft from that lemon tree to this one. Because this one, like I said, is 2 years in the ground and there's nothing on it. I don't even know what a pink lemon looks like because this tree doesn't produce anything. So that's what it's supposed to have been. Maybe it had a bad graft. Maybe they didn't graft it. I don't know. It's a nice sized tree, but there's no blooms. So moving along, Moringa. I planted 10 seeds and 8 germinated. And this was April the 14th, I think this was. But you can see this one over here, Moringa. All the Moringa. I've got them planted 10 feet apart, and then 10 foot over is another row, and they're 10 feet apart in this row as well. So, yeah, we'll be able to harvest Moringa and eat some Moringa. This is the best one I've got going right here, and he's probably 4 feet tall right now. And this was planted from a seed in April. So 4-foot tree. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? So this was my gonna be my spot for my greenhouse this year. One more tree. But it happened to be the best spot to plant 8 trees. So now it's a Moringa orchard, if you will. And I can't wait to see these guys grow up and produce. So that's going to be awesome. Now, moving along into the garden, into the raised bed garden that I just love so much. I have a not so great germination of pink-eyed purple hull peas, right? Who'd have thought it? Well, I thought I'd try it out, and I don't think it's the bed that's keeping them. I think it's the seeds, or the peas itself that I planted, because I haven't had a good germination with those. I guess I should have gotten some different ones, but there's still plants that are popping up, smaller plants. I got 4 rows here of purple hull peas, and I've got the other bed planted as well. So originally this was my zucchini bed. Oh no, this was the yellow crookneck squash, and then the zucchini back there. But the time frame, it just really wasn't a whole lot to plant, peas or okra or whatever, so I just went with the peas. So hopefully we'll get more germination. Man, these daggum fire ants. Now, moving along, blueberry. I did finish the garden with the mulch on these 2, so that looks good. Now, check this out. This is, well, marigolds, of course. Basil, that's a cinnamon basil. These are green bell peppers, but man, that basil, that's one basil plant, and it is just taken over now. It's going to seed. Look at that, it's blossoming up. Man, I am just not having a good time with these ants. But my bell peppers are doing good. And, oh, you know what? That basil's going to kill these tomatoes, I bet. That's a mini bell tomato. But that basil's going to take it over, I think. So I might have to cut back on some of the basil. There's another mini bell. I got 5 of those mini bells in here. It's a really small tomato plant. And look at the root system coming out of the dirt. That's weird. Golly. Man, I tell you what. If you haven't never been bit by a fire ant, you don't know what you're missing. Man, these things are stinging the mess out of me. Okay. So moving along, bell peppers. Yeah, this is junk here. It's like I need to put more dirt around the roots. But these are, man, what's going on here? I don't want to pull my tomato plant up, but this is the tomato plant itself. It's a mini bell. So I tried them last year, nothing. I got them going this year. I don't know how big they're going to get. Here's one. Oh, here's one. Look at this one. This one here actually has little flowers all over him. Look how little that thing is. Ain't that something? That is a small breed tomato plant, if I've ever seen it. I mean, look. It's the size of my hand and it's blooming out. Moving along. Okay, I showed you up on the porch, or up in the container area, was a papaya, and this should be guava, pink guava. So this is another new addition to the farm here, or the yard, or whatever you want to call it. So he's going to stay in a bucket and probably be brought in over the winter as well. So figs are making, but leaves are turning. So I don't know if they're getting too much water or too much sun. I don't know, but they're not doing that good. Here's some more of my pink-eyed purple hull peas. And look, something is eating the leaves up on them too. Man, it's hard. Here in the south, man, everything wants to eat everything. Now, this other bed had different tomatoes in it. It had the homestead tomatoes, and we got rid of them. Now I've got, I think this is a German heart, and it seems to be doing pretty good right now. It's getting big. And I got a couple of more in there, German heart tomatoes. Look at those marigolds over there. Wow. Just taking over. Peppers are growing big, and I've got them in tomato cages, and look, they're leaning, so I probably have to do something different with that. But moving along, here's my old hens with a little rooster. I got 5 hens, and I probably get 4 eggs a day. There's a little free-range rooster. He gets fed under there. I need to clean this up. Now, this is a mess. Look at all this mess. This is just weeds. But believe it or not, I have cantaloupe in there, but you can't see it. Weeds have taken over. I need help. Help in the garden. Look at this cantaloupe. Man, it's flowering. But dadgum. So what I did when I put this weed barrier down, I left about a 12 to 14 inch gap so I could plant in the middle of it. Now, yeah, that's my fault. Look at all this mess growing here. But I've got other people that live here that I thought would help out, and I can't get no outside help out of them, and I know why. I don't even know what's going on there. It's because it's so dad blasting hot. I don't know what that is. These are supposed to be squash here. But it's so daggum hot, you can't get out. So I come out here this morning at 5:30. Gotta weed all that. And it was raining. So I come out to weed, and it was raining. So if you can tell through the weeds, this back row is sweet potatoes on that mound. The second row is supposed to be pink-eyed purple hull peas, and I don't know if any of them came up. And then in this row, there's mounds, and on these mounds you'll see my Cherokee tan pumpkins. So I got to get in here and get all this cleaned up and give them some space so they can get their water. But that's these broadleaves. That's the Cherokee tan pumpkin. So we'll see how they do. I planted 12 seeds. 8 of them came up, so that's pretty good. And then focusing over here. Uh-oh. Something's in the woods. I hear something moving in the woods. I don't know what it is, but it made a loud racket out there. Could be a pig, could be a bear, could be a deer. No, it ain't gonna be a deer. I'm gonna go with either a pig or a black bear. But I don't know. That's why we got a 6-foot fence. That ain't gonna stop a black bear, but interesting. Okay, so up here on top of this chicken coop, well, here you'll see my muscadine's growing. Man, I've got bad lighting here. Let's see if you can see them. You go inside this chicken coop. Yeah, I'm gonna trap something, set my trap off. I don't know what, probably a rat. But look up here against the blue sky at the scuppernons, man. You're loaded with scuppernons. Just loaded. There you go. A little bit of light. You can see them. See the scuppernons just hanging down, and that's exactly why we put them up here. Now, the first time I had seen scuppernons growing like this was when I was a kid in Opp, Alabama, where my grandparents lived. Their neighbor, Mr. King, had a tremendous amount of chickens, and they were completely covered. And what he did was he grew these scuppernon vines and completely covered the whole chicken area. Because see, my chickens, well, these two runs here are completely enclosed, and the scuppernon vines will come up and shade them in the summertime. And plus, you get your scuppernons, so you can eat these. Well, they're not ripe enough. These will be gold or bronze, I guess you call them. And you can eat them raw, or you can make wine out of them, or you can make jelly out of them. So, yeah, man, they're growing good. But that's where I first saw them, was when I was a kid. And I thought that was just the coolest thing. And so now I've got my own little vineyard of scuppernons. Now, let me get out of this chicken coop. This old chicken coop I can see where the rats have been coming through. I've actually got wire down there. There's some hardware cloth, but I've got some wire down there and they're coming through it. So I had moved those other chickens out here about a couple of weeks ago, and I had to put up a lower roost for them because they weren't yet big enough to get up higher. And I come out here one day and one of them was beheaded. So I thought, well, it's not time then to bring them out here, so I'm going to have to, like I said, get the tin or something and come down here and patch this in and try to push the rats out. But I might use this for turkeys. I don't know yet. Now, on this fence here, you can see these leaves here. Those are the wild scuppernons, or we call them muscadines. Here's one hanging. And, oh, this one here actually, see the fruit right there? This one has a fruit on it. Oops. And I don't know if those are going to be gold or if they're going to be black, but I've got them growing against the fence. And, you know, South Alabama, oh, here's tons of them up here. I don't know if you can see them up here. Let me see if I can zoom in. You'll see the fruit. Yeah, you can see the fruit. See the fruit right there in the middle of the screen? There it is. Yeah, so southern Alabama is known for kudzu. Kudzu is a Chinese vine that was brought in for whatever reason, and it takes over everything, right? Well, I just found out recently that you can actually prepare it and eat it. I don't know what part of it, but down here in northern Florida, we don't have so much kudzu as muscadines, and so that's kind of nice to have something with a fruit on it that takes over and grows over everything. So yeah, you can see there's more up there. Let me get in on them. See that fruit up there? That's delicious fruit. So, yeah. Well, all right. That's all I got for right now. Oh, wait, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I do have something else. Let's look in here and see what we got going on in here. Nothing. No eggs. I do have another small section. Oops, you're just looking at the ground. I do have another small section of garden area, I guess, up here. There's a PT Cruiser. Love that car. Blew the motor in it. Need to get rid of it. So, yeah. So I put this old tent up, and I've got, here's a banana plant. I don't know what kind of banana that is. Elderberry, and this is a red banana that doesn't seem to be doing too good right now. So we had watermelon planted in here. Now the water from the back of the property actually runs this direction, and I thought, well, that'll be a good thing, you know, they'll get water. But what I didn't know was that water was going to stand here, and so it stood for 2 or 3 days, and it killed all the watermelon vines. So yeah. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching what's growing on over here, and stay tuned for an update. We'll see what else is growing. Times change. We'll be pulling up plants and putting in something different. So take care.